Equalisation is a myth. Shock loading is a myth. Those are things I've read recently on my Facebook or Instagram pages, and they have a point. I don't think they're quite accurate. Equalisation is not a myth. Shock loading as a concept is not a myth. But do we blow them up beyond all proportion? That bit is debatable. I've got a few anchors here. Let's just have a play with a couple of things. This video is intended to be like more thought-provoking than full instruction type stuff. But let's clip these two pieces that are quite close together and actually a similar distance apart. In the UK, what we'd normally do now is a knot in there, figure of 8, overhand, whatever's appropriate in terms of how much sling you've got and stuff. And then we'd clip into these two loops, you know, perhaps by a clove hitch or whatever it might be. Are these 2 points equalised? They're going to be close, aren't they, right? There is a slight length difference in the legs there, but not a lot. It doesn't take much to completely change that potential equalisation. If I'm coming right down the middle of this, am I somewhere close to equalising those bits? Yeah, probably. If I'm in line with this one though, this one is going to be doing nearly all the work. If I shift over here, the right hand one with the gold carabiner, that's going to be doing nearly all the work. That is not actually equalised. How could I improve upon that? Well, something we don't do a lot in the UK, mostly because we're nearly always on trad gear. We don't have many belays with bolted anchor stations, pretty rare for us. Let's just get a few twists out of here. But I could do a sliding X, couldn't I? I love a sliding X where appropriate. I'll come on to it. I don't think it's often appropriate on trad gear, but on bolts, yeah, sign me up. Put a twist in it. That's my point to clip. Great. This we'd refer to quite often as a self-equalising setup. Because it's moving, it's doing its best at equalising wherever it's being pulled. Even this isn't actually truly equalising. When you pull really hard on it, you get some friction in here where they cross over and touch. So one is always going to take more than the other one, depending upon where you're pulling, depending upon the distance of bits of gear apart, because suddenly if this one was down here, this one's probably taking most of the force. There's less stretch going on. Oh, it's Dyneema, it doesn't stretch. It does a little tiny bit. So this one would probably be taking most of the force. It's more complicated than that. But even that's not actually truly equalised. What do we lose by having this thing that, okay, perhaps is more equalised than my original method? Well, what happens if one of these explodes? Bang. That's what we're talking about with shock loading, isn't it? Right? We don't like shock loading. How much shock are we actually putting onto these bits of gear? The testing I've seen, even with like really bad falls, when there's a rope involved, is like somewhere maxing out around about 4 kilonewtons. Do I care about 4 kilonewtons? Yes and no. I don't really want to take 4 kilonewtons. It's not like going to break my spine, but it's not comfy either. I'm on trad kit here. This nut here is rated to 12. That's pretty strong. This one's 12 as well. That one's 12 as well. But some of our gear is not rated to 12 kilonewtons. They might be part of a belay. I don't like the idea of shock loading some trad kit. Is this redundant? In that if I chop through that bit of sling there, perhaps a rock fall or it rubbing over an edge in a fall or something, well no, because this single closed loop is no longer closed, is it? So my carabiner will just slide off the end. I could do limiter knots. That would mitigate the extension, wouldn't it? Which is what causes the shock loading when it goes down the sling but stops. So limiter knots are pretty popular. Quads are pretty popular, aren't they? In the States, again, not really, particularly in the UK. But what are we trying to tick box-wise when we're building these belays? SERENE is a common one. First S, solid or safe, it's interchangeable. That's about the gear. The gear dictates how good your belay is. Crap gear, crap belay. Can't really pass that step, can you? E for equalised. Come back to that in a second, because I'm just telling you that equalising actually doesn't really happen. What are we on to next? R for redundant. That means, what I was just saying there, if one chops, is the whole system failed or not? So with this one, yes, it would be failed, wouldn't it? Next, E for efficient. Just, when I say efficient, sort of quick, simple, no extra links, all those kind of things. And then what are we on to? NE, so the next one, no extension. It's almost like we can't very easily tick each box. There are some compromises, aren't there? So if I'm setting up a belay, and let's say I'm doing one here, just to change things slightly. I'm going to do my overhand in there. Because how often do we actually go off 2 bits of trad kit? We do go off trad kit, 2 bits of trad kit, but not that often. What could I do here? I could clove-hitch into that. Okay, great. So let's just decide that's not enough. Let's go into this bit over here next. Another clove-hitch. What's the difference of the legs that we've got going on here? There's a short bit of rope involved, there's a long bit of rope involved, there's some sling involved. I can get these as equalised as possible, but I bet that one's taking more load because that's less dynamic than that lot, and whilst there's that bit there, it's like a shorter bit compared to that bit. I want to keep that loose, which it is there. Could exaggerate it a bit more, but it is loose. Is that truly equalised? No way. No way is that equalised, right? But what have I achieved? Well, if any one of these bits explodes, there is no extension. So I kind of think, in my mind, of the equalisation and no extension bit, almost like merging into like one common goal. If I was on bolts, would I care about equalisation? Not especially, really. If I came up to a bolt set here, let's say these 2 bits, and they were linked with a chain, well, I'd just clip into one, and if that one failed, it would just swing on the chain to the other one. Do I care about that? No, as long as they're good. I might even clip into one, belay off the other one, assuming they're both linked and that. Definitely not equalised, but they're so solid that I just don't really care. But on trad kit, it is a different matter, isn't it? So, equalisation. What are we really trying to achieve from it? I would say, yes, we are trying to get them as equally loaded as us as a human being with eyes can, but we have to accept that we're not truly equalising stuff. But in doing that equalisation, we are probably going some way towards getting rid of that extension as well, which we don't like. Redundancy gets in there as well, doesn't it? Right? If we're equalising stuff with a knot, then we're ticking off redundancy as well. But SERENE is a brilliant way of looking at things, but there are some nuances to it as well. What do you think? I said this was supposed to be like a thought-provoking video rather than me telling you must do this, must do that, because that's not climbing, is it? We need to be realistic. In one situation, equalising might be at the forefront of your mind. In another situation, no extension, this, that, the other. Every belay is different, isn't it? Even if it's a bolted belay, slightly different each time. Trad gear, definitely different each time. All sorts going on, isn't there? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always keen to hear, as long as they're like nice and not like just telling me I'm a knobhead or something like that. No, never that keen on those ones. But yeah, chuck in the comments below anything you've got to add to the conversation. I'd be intrigued to hear it. Click the like button, smash the subscribe button, find us on Insta, Facebook, use the Buy Me Coffee link to support the channel. The boys over there drifting off to sleep. It's lunchtime actually, so I'm going to go home and have fuel, same as every other day. Thanks very much for watching. More videos coming up very soon.